You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Look at all that money, yeah, the money that they've spent. Take another look and take some time for him. Don't cut trees for paper cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yeah, it's time for hemp. Well, an acre of hemp makes 20 barrels of oil. No need for pesticides, poison all our soil. People got no food, they got no clothes, they got no rent. Well, it's time for hemp.
Yes, it is. It's time for hemp, and I want to thank you for tuning in. You are watching Time for Hemp today on the big broadcast all around the world on Citizen Green TV. Thank you for being part of our audience. This is how we get the message out. If you like the content that we're providing, please share us with your friends. And if you happen to be watching on the internet, please hit the like and subscribe button. That's how we get to do more content of this nature. Also note that anytime you hear the word joint on the big joint broadcast, we ask that you hit your pipes, your bongs, your vaporizers, and take time for hemp. We've got a great show today on the program. My joint host, Al Graham from Canada, who's also involved with Pace Radio Network up there. Hi, Al Graham. How you doing?
Doing good, Casper, and yourself?
Fine, thank you. Let people know a little bit about Pace Radio.
All right. Pace Radio is people advocating cannabis education. We're found at paceradio.net. Not only do we cover cannabis, but we also talk about psychedelics as well.
And we've also got on the program today another joint host, Al Byrne. Say hello, Al Byrne.
Hello, Casper. Hi, Mike. Hi, Al. How you doing, everybody? And welcome to our guests, who Casper will introduce in a moment. I don't have a radio show or a TV network or a radio network like Al Graham. He's a big deal. I'm just a talking head here. But if you look down at the bottom, you'll see that I did write a book for country and cannabis, and it's a good book. Please read it. It's a history of medical cannabis over a 40-year period in the United States. It does mention Canada. I had an experience back a few years back. No, it didn't go well. Back in 2002, we were going to have a conference up at the University of British Columbia. And for a number of reasons, that fell apart, mainly because of the federal government of the United States interfering. This is what the book is. It's a bunch of stories. So I have a conference going to set up in Canada at university, and it's going to be in a building. And right across the street from that building, the United States government, through an organization called Drug Free America, rented that building, had a donation given to them, $125,000, and they were bringing up all kinds of people from the United States and Canada into Vancouver to be right across the street from my medical accredited conference to just cross hill. Just like you see going on in LA right now. Just paid people to come and disrupt an academic conference. I bailed out. Sure. Those are the kind of stories in the book, are endless. But today we got another story going on, and that's our guest. So Casper, please introduce him.
Yes, our guest I had a chance to meet back, I think it was like 2012, 2011. And he's had quite a remarkable journey that I think everybody needs to be aware of. Justin James Bridges, also known as Mad Dabber 710. Thank you for being part of our big broadcast, Justin.
How y'all doing, everybody?
Groovy. And
Justin, good, Justin. Good to meet you.
Let's kick off the program. Let our audience know how it was you got involved in the cannabis hemp movement.
Yeah, so I'm from Texas. I'm an activist. I'm a professional musician. And in 2011, I went on tour in January 2011 from Houston, Texas, up and across Route 66 over to California, and then up north to Portland, Oregon. and was staying with some friends up there and getting into the industry and helping them grow with medical cannabis patients and everything like that, being a caregiver and being a medical cannabis patient myself. And was introduced to everybody from HempstaLK, to P. Steve originally, and then to Paul Stanford, and then to you, Casper, at HempstaLK. And
can I ask what you say you're a patient? We'd like to start with that. Can I ask, is it all right if you tell us what you were using cannabis for?
Yeah, so I was using cannabis for chronic pain. I had some sports injuries and things like that, and arthritis, knee injuries, and back injuries. But then after recovering, towards the end of 2011, I was going through my recovery using cannabis instead of opioids for my back. I had some fractures in my back, and but those had mostly healed over. I was doing pretty good, and went to Occupy Portland after playing at Portland HempstaLK September 11th, 2011. And then October 6th, I went to Occupy Portland for the march. And at the end of the march, saw that there was a bunch of deaf people asking what was going on. And I used to be an interpreter for the deaf. So I started interpreting and stayed the whole time at Occupy Portland as the interpreter for the deaf community.
Nice. Nice.
And yeah, I was doing sign language for them, and was attacked by the police on November 13th, 2011. Left me in a wheelchair for over 3 years. And so my first time to play Portland HempstaLK, I walked onto the stage and performed. My second and third and fourth time to play at Portland HempstaLK, I was wheeled up onto the stage on a ramp in my wheelchair and performed from a wheelchair. So.
What injuries did you suffer from the beating?
So I was
words really.
Yeah, I was pinned against the trash can, concrete trash can, and my back popped and my legs gave out. And then after being told I couldn't feel my legs, they grabbed me by the ankles and dragged me back into the park and slammed me down in front of a bunch of protesters and started stomping on me and hitting me with batons. I had nerve damage in my right leg. I couldn't move my right arm for 6 months. Yeah, it was crazy. They hit me so hard with their batons, they split my leather jacket.
People burned down Portland just a couple of years ago, but they beat the shit out of a cannabis user. Makes no sense. No. I want to just say that, because to the audience, I'm sure whatever was going on with the cannabis people that you were talking to and representing, there was no violence involved, was there?
Yeah, we were a peaceful movement at Occupy Portland. The violence you saw at Occupy was from the police.
All right, now that was my point. You see these riots going on around the country right now. We're having a lot of problem with these anti-Trump people in LA and Austin, Texas, and all over the place. I guarantee you something. Those people running around out there, breaking into buildings, burning cars, hurting people, throwing bricks, they're not pot smokers. That's all I want to tell you. That's all I'll tell you. There isn't a pot smoker out there.
Yeah, they'd be calm, that's for sure. And that's why Wavy Gravy used to dress up like a clown when he went to protest, because he knew that the police would not risk being seen on camera in front of children hitting a clown. So now, Justin, I also know that during the time that you were rolling around in your wheelchair, you remained a steadfast cannabis hemp activist. I mean,
Yes, sir.
You got up and went to all the marches and rolled around in the marches, and you got up and went to all the festivals, and you Absolutely. Did not stop. Isn't that right?
Nope. That's right. I also founded the Cannabis Common Sense Tour in 2014 alongside of Larry Kirk, LK. And we went across the country spreading education and awareness about cannabis and hemp. And 25% of the money we raised went to the commissary accounts of POWs of the drug war.
And Larry Kirk was quite an amazing activist. I had the privilege of knowing him, and his sense of humor was just over the top. And he was a hardworking activist who also made it possible for Oregon and state of Washington to have medical cannabis and eventually recreational use.
Exactly.
So he was quite an amazing man.
Behind the scenes on so many things. And, I'm honored to be able to say that he was my mentor. it was incredible being able to work alongside of him, and learning so much from him. My guitar, I have a custom guitar made by Jim Hyatt that was given to me because Larry introduced me to Jim, and we went and performed while I was in the wheelchair, and I performed in San Francisco at a street party on Clayton Street right off of Haight-Ashbury, and played a little street party there. And afterwards, Jim was like, "I'm going to make you a guitar." Custom built me a guitar made out of a 120-year-old oak piano with my signature inlaid in the fretboard. And Larry went down to San Francisco and he brought it up and delivered it to me.
Very nice. How is your health now, Justin? Are you in pain still? And
I still deal with chronic pain, but I mean, I can stand up and move around.
You can do more than I can do.
I was dancing on stage. I'm able to play music, and I'm able to jump around on stage again. And it's an honor. And now my daughter is playing with me as well and performing alongside of me for some of the things that we're doing. So, it's fun to be able to dance around and jump around on stage again.
Well, and I can tell you, Al, I had a chance to watch his daughter in concert, and I'm going to tell you something straight up. She's only like 8 years old.
She plays I bet you she plays the harmonica.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's who she was. Okay, I watched your video on your website, and,
yes,
you're on a stage, obviously, and I can see her off to the side, and I thought, "Oh, who's this?"
Well, and I can tell you, when she starts to play harmonica, Justin goes from being frontline star to backup band member, and he doesn't give her the spotlight. He doesn't give her the lead. She just walks up and takes it.
All right,
she's amazing. She is amazing. Now, many members of my audience might not know, but I am sometimes a bit of a pisshead. And because of that, there was times when people would watch Justin and I interact with one another, and they wanted to kick my butt because of the horrible things I was saying to him, but it was to make him laugh, and Justin understood it. I mean, it's because of me you learned how to play guitar again, right?
I used to love that. They used to crack me up to watch everybody else's reactions. So Casper would joke because he saw me play guitar before I got put in the wheelchair and saw how good I was and saw how my hand worked and everything. And then when I couldn't move my right arm for 6 months, the first thing that came back was, even though I couldn't feel my arm, my thumb started to twitch. And so I taped my arm and would strap my arm to my guitar to where my thumb could twitch over the strings and my fret hand still worked. So I was just kind of trying to get my thumb. And that's how I started to rehab my hand. And so as my hand was coming back and I was playing more and more, Casper used to joke around and say, "Did you learn how to play the guitar yet?"
And I'd encourage you to go ahead.
I thought it was hilarious, so it made me laugh every time, and I was like, still working on it.
Well, it's good to be able to laugh about things like that, an injury or something, because they are traumatic, and to be able to have some fun is,
And
other people used to get. Go ahead.
I'd often say out loud, as soon as I get some money, I promise I'll pay for some lessons. Just stop now and wait till you can actually play. And oh my God,
it was so funny because I would laugh at that.
How long have you been playing guitar? Like if your daughter started playing harmonica, probably at like 5, if she says.
Oh no, she literally took her first steps playing harmonica. Like literally took her first steps playing harmonica. Wow. It blew my mind. She went from crawling to standing and walking towards me playing harmonica, and I was like, "What? You just skipped all those steps?" Yeah, but
didn't Texas also do something with their laws, especially for you, Mad Dabber 710?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. So, yeah, definitely. So, I was, after being attacked by the police and everything, I was in the medical program in Oregon, and was using cannabis and no pharmaceuticals whatsoever, just cannabis and massage therapy and holistic methods of healing. And while going through that, I'm from Texas, so I was home visiting and we were driving from my parents' house to go see some other friend's house, and we got pulled over because we were driving an old Volvo that had Texas plate or had Oregon plates, and we were in Texas, and they pulled us over claiming that my license plate light was out. On the video that the judge showed, the license plate light is clearly on. So, but they allowed it, and they searched my car without my permission, and went through, and they found my medicine. And in their mind, it was probably the most medicine they've ever seen in their life. It was probably the most cannabis they'd ever seen, you know. And for us, it's just under the legal limit in Oregon. You know, I had my medicine for my personal use, but in Oregon at the time, we could have 1.5 pounds of useful material for our medical card. And so they searched my car, they arrested me. I went to jail, got bailed out, thought I had a lawyer going to court for me while I was on tour. Find out we were in a car accident coming home from tour in East Texas, and then found out that my lawyer had not showed up to court for me, and I had a warrant out for my arrest.
Oh.
And so they arrested me from the hospital.
Oh.
And took me to jail, and I spent almost. Go
You're
ahead.
in the hospital. You're in the hospital.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was just like literally I was getting checked on. I had bruising and everything like that, but you know, I'm a medical cannabis patient, and so they stuck me in jail. I didn't have my medicine, so my spasms started coming back. You know, from my experience from the Portland Police Bureau. So I started having a bunch of spasms again, and so they put me through. They instead of putting me in an infirmary, they stuck me into max security. So I was in max security for a couple of days, and then they moved me back into the infirmary, and then I got transferred, and then I got put back into max security, and then got transferred from there back to where the original charge was, and was in isolation for 14 days.
What was the charge? You had to go through all that?
Failure to possession and failure to appear. I was at one point in time, they had me max security between a rapist and a murderer, and my bail was the highest by far. There's $20,000, $40,000, and mine was $100,000 cash bail. So that means it was $1 million bond.
You know, I've heard that, you know, people like yourselves, just cannabis related, you can go to jail and come back out with a whole new trade, because you're in there and you have these opportunities to find out all these negative things, and yet here you are. It's just you're.
The thing is,
you're like,
you know,
it wasn't your fault that your lawyer didn't
right.
appear.
Oh no, I know. But so I was having all these spasms. I was having like 50 spasms a day without my medicine. And then my blood pressure spiked one day, and it was from the pain and the spasms, and it was 191 over 141. And so at that point, they sent me to the hospital or the doctor's office in the town. And the doctor was like, you're very clearly needing your medical cannabis. And if you're okay with it, I shouldn't do this, but I will tell a friend of mine that's a lawyer about what's going on. And so he did, and it turned out that there was a weird family connection. One of his best friends was one of my dad's best friends. So he ended up giving us a discount on the retainer, and then we took it to court. He got me out of jail, and then we changed the probation order in Texas and made it to where if you're a medical cannabis patient now in Texas, you can still consume while on probation. And they extended that to parole as well. So the probation order used to read, you're prohibited from consuming alcohol, marijuana, or illicit drugs. And now it says you're prohibited from using alcohol, illicit drugs, or marijuana. And then in parentheses, it says, unless prescribed by the doctor in the state which you reside.
Good.
And so that happened because I was still, and I had my medical card in Oregon, and then I transferred my medical card to New York and actually served my probation in New York, where, fun fact, New York made it illegal to collect probation fees. So then Texas had to pay all my probation fees back to me. And then they were paying for my supervision while I was in New York because it's illegal to pay for them to charge me probation fees. So for a couple years, Texas just spent a bunch of money on me to pee dirty in a cup every month.
Yeah, I want to go back to the bust.
Karma rocks.
It's important for the audience to know that if you get stopped for any reason at all, if the officer says to you, get out, get out. If he says, turn over here, turn over there. But if he says, I want permission to search your car.
No.
No, sir. I'm sorry. That won't be granted by me. So then they shouldn't. The law says if they don't have permission, they can't. That doesn't stop a cop. He'll say,
doesn't mean they won't.
He'll say anything if they're the judge. But nevertheless, you say no, you're in a good spot. You say yes, you're screwed. Just keep that in mind.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And lots of times, whatever the charges are after that stop, if it's a bad stop, you said no, and they got in there and found a couple of pipes or a bowl or something, the judge will throw it away. You didn't get permission for that search. It's not a legal search. They don't have a warrant. And that's another thing. Unless they arrest you, you do what they tell you. But after you've identified yourself, your name, where you live, you have to be truthful now. No fooling around. But you tell them the truth. They got your license. They got your registration. They're going to check on your ass in a computer, and it won't take that long. But once they do that, they don't have but two choices. Say goodbye, or you're under arrest. So if they don't arrest you, or they say something to you like, well, you got to sit here until the drug dog shows up. No, you don't. You say, officer, I'm sorry, I don't. Am I under arrest? Right. You're not under arrest, Al, but you got to stay here. So have a nice day. I'm leaving. And you leave. That's my advice for today, and I'm not a lawyer.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah. Well, it's right.
I love the disclaimer.
I got pulled over.
Been there, done that.
A lawyer told me, basically the same advice that Al did.
I'll tell you a story. On this. I'm coming back from a pot conference. This is Arizona. Get up on I-10, I guess it is. We're headed east back to Virginia. I got my big Dodge diesel pickup truck, big truck, wife, 3 dogs, and in the back of the truck are 50 empty cannabis cans from the federal people. The federal guys get a can every month. Right. And then we would take these things and we'd sell them, So they gave me at the conference, they guys brought them, LV and Arab, they all brought this stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I got a plastic bag full of them in the back of the truck. We come up on I-10. I don't know if you've ever been there, but there is a massive, massive roadblock. It's covered. They got 15 cameras every goddamn 10 feet. There are border patrol guys all over the place. They're all they're military attired. They're carrying heavy weapons, shotguns. Mm-hmm. This is serious, serious stuff. And I got dogs. So we pull up. My ex-wife was driving. And, the cop looks at us. Well, we're not Mexicans. She's from Norway, and I'm what I am. So we got by that. The cop says something to us like, anybody in that truck with you? And no, just our dogs, because the dogs are all over the place. Well, meanwhile, this cop in the back with the dog, he's running the dog around the truck, right? And the dog's kind of going, whoa, this something got my attention in the back of this thing. So cop says, you got something strange in the back of that truck to the wife? And she says, no, I just got these 3 dogs. And then she says, and it was true, she says, but 2 of them are females, and one of the females is in heat. And the cop looks at the other cop, the dog cop, and says, she got a female in there in heat. So the handler goes, oh, forget it. They let us go. Anyway, that story's not in the book. There's a lot of them like that.
The life of a cannabis activist.
Well, Gateway Galbraith once told me, if you're going to commit a crime, commit one at a time. That way it doesn't multiply. So he said, if you got a dead body in the trunk, make sure that you got your license legal and your car is legal, all your lights are on. Because once they're able to like compound the charges, then you're screwed. But if they only got one thing to charge you with, you got a good chance in court. Yeah. So if you've enjoyed this conversation with Justin James Bridges, also known as Mad Dabber 710, make it a point to tune in to Citizen Green TV, and you'll find us and you'll be able to enjoy and share our next segment here at Time for Hemp.
Look at all that money, yeah, the money that they've spent. Take another look and take some time for him. Don't cut trees for paper, cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yeah, it's time for hemp. Well, an acre of hemp makes 20 barrels of oil. No need for pesticides, poison all our soil. People got no food, they got no clothes, they got no rent. Well, it's time for hemp. Throughout Earth's history, hemp has been used, no mystery. Hemp was legal to pay you. Extra more than a centric act. Check your facts. Think of all its uses. It's money that's well spent. Right now, no excuses. It's time for hemp. Sustainable green industry, that's our intent. A better place this world will be. It's time for hemp. Fuel and food and clothes and soap. House and cars, yeah, cars, no joke. Henry Ford built a car, hemp. It's time for us to do it again. People will be employed with balanced farming as it's meant. Right now, it's time for hemp. Hemp is a necessity for the wealth and protection of this country. Thomas Jefferson spoke those words. He knew the value of these herds. Time to lift the hemp and it's time to make a strong stand. Yes, we can, I know we can. We can make a difference, yes, we can. Just like birds of a feather, we can work together and lift the hemp band. Look at all that money, yeah, the money that they spent. Take another look and take some time for him. Don't cut trees for paper, cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yeah, it's time for him.
Time for Hemp is a Pace Radio Network content provider. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420. We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.